Lots of talk today about the role of the security services and of how we can prevent people from becoming radicalised in the first place. Let's speak to Sajda Mughal. She's a Muslim who survived the 7/7 attack. She now works to empower women to combat violence and also extremism. Joins us now live. Hello to you. Thank you for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Where do we start when we talk about this sort of thing? Let's start by asking you how you felt when you heard about it.
When I started to see the scenes break on news in terms of what was happening at London Bridge over the weekend, it took me right back to 12 years ago on the Piccadilly Tube with the massive explosion when Jermaine Lindsay detonated his bomb, when the carriage literally shook, people screaming, people crying, people injured, blood. And I watched the video in terms of those in the bar getting down on the ground, and that's exactly what was happening that day on July the 7th, 2005. It took me right back, and all my emotions came flooding. It was sadness, and then that sadness went through to anger. And that's what happens every time there's a terrorist attack. I just relive the experience.
And it's happened again twice in London in the last 3 months,
Yeah.
3 times in the United Kingdom since the 22nd of March. What can we do? How do we start to try to integrate people into our society so that they don't feel the need to blow each other up?
Okay, well, what I'd like to see happen going forward is I want to see more action. Okay, whilst we are talking about it, we need to then move away from less talking to more action, and we need to have a joined up, consistent approach. So what I mean by that is this multi-agency approach, everyone working together, everyone knowing what's going on. One aspect would be also in terms of when members of the community are reporting in, those concerns need to be escalated, those concerns need to be seen to. What I know works, because what happened to me on July the 7th, 2005, changed my life, to work with the Muslim community, specifically to empower mothers and wives to tackle extremism and prevent online radicalisation. And so I can tell you what works in terms of the grassroots. So that grassroots work needs to continue, specifically with the home. The home is where the first signs tend to be often spotted. So that community resilience needs to continue, that work needs to go on. And I have to call out to our government and also say, actually, for that work to continue, for us to change those hearts and minds, the red tape within government needs to be removed, the needless bureaucracy needs to be removed, we need to have more action. And unfortunately, because of that, my project Web Guardians has had to take a step back from that. And in that time of us not delivering, we potentially may have some people being radicalised online.
What signs are there that mums and sisters and daughters should be looking out for?
Oh, there are a number of signs to look out for. So we're talking about from literally young people, or even those in their teens and their children and their husbands spending time on the internet, coming home with very warped interpretations of Islam, changing their social circle. There are a number of signs, feeling isolated, feeling marginalized. And then there are some very distinct signs. So looking at one specific case which comes to mind, there was a husband who came home to his wife and actually voiced that I need to do something about what's happening across the world. Now, that's a clear sign. If I was a wife, I would have said to myself, wait a minute, I need to find out what is going on with my husband. Where is he hearing these things and why is he feeling this way? So there are a number of signs, and that's exactly what my work does. It's much more than, whilst we look at the signs, we look at other things and what else can be done.
As a Muslim in London, what is your perception of integration in the capital city?
Integration, well, to be honest with you, integration is everyone getting on. As I was growing up, I've literally been brought up in the UK, everyone getting on, people of faith, no faith, getting on in school, getting on in society, everyone talking to each other, no divides, no hatred. That's integration. Being involved in society as well. Communities not being isolated, communities not being marginalised, being an active citizen of society.
Do you see that in practice in London?
I see it predominantly in London, but I have to be honest with you, in parts of the UK, I don't see that happening. I don't. And this is what the other part of my work is, actually integrating specifically women from the Muslim community and their families. I have to put my hand on my heart and say, in some parts of the UK, some are very isolated, and that cannot continue. Members from the community and other communities need to integrate, but I'm talking from the Muslim community because that's where my work is centred around.
Good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Thank you.